In the Indonesian countryside, when the harvest season arrives, the vast green rice fields begin to transform into a sea of golden grains, signaling the time for harvesting. After the rice is cut and transported to the farmers' homes, one of the most important processes in traditional agriculture begins: rice drying. This process is simple yet vital to ensure that the rice is ready to be stored and processed into rice for daily consumption. In the morning, farmers begin their activities by drying the rice on large tarpaulins spread out in the yard or on a clean ground surface. These tarpaulins are often made of woven materials or strong cloth, chosen to ensure that the rice does not come into direct contact with the ground. The warm morning sun helps to evaporate the moisture from the grains of rice, which are still fresh and wet after harvesting. This drying process requires precision and attention. Every few hours, farmers carefully turn the rice over using simple tools like rakes or brooms. This is done to ensure that all parts of the rice are exposed to sunlight evenly, preventing the growth of mold or other damage that could affect the quality of the rice later. The soft sound of rice rubbing against each other when turned over creates a soothing rhythm, as if nature is singing. As the day progresses, the sun reaches its peak and the heat becomes more intense. This is the most effective time for drying, when the rice begins to dry quickly. Natural sunlight combined with a gentle breeze works together to remove any remaining moisture in the rice. Along the village roads, the expanse of rice being dried becomes a common sight, creating a landscape full of color and life. Traditional rice drying takes 1 to 2 days, depending on the weather conditions. Farmers must be vigilant in observing changes in the weather. If it suddenly becomes cloudy or rains, they must quickly collect the rice and cover it to protect it from moisture. The precision of this process greatly determines the end result: white, clean, and durable rice. Towards evening, after a full day of drying, the sufficiently dry rice is collected by the farmers. They inspect each grain, ensuring that the rice is completely dry before storing it. Perfectly dried rice will be stored in a barn or traditional storage warehouse, ready to be milled into rice or stored as food reserves. This rice drying process is part of the cycle of life for farmers in rural Indonesia, reflecting the hard work, patience, and wisdom passed down from generation to generation. Behind every grain of rice we enjoy, there is a story about the land, the sun, and the tireless hands. Thank you for following this process. Hopefully we will appreciate every plate of rice served on our table even more.